that sort of thing, or are we looking to just skirmish and continue to assassinate teams and try and grief certain teams going into the realm of Yang, etc.? So it creates more compositions that with different objectives. You know, a team that is entirely focused around winning the realm of Yang will come into play, I imagine. And ACOS can definitely do very well with that. And I'm not too sure. I don't know how much is going to get played. I do see the value, and I think we all saw the value in it, but only time will tell.
Is this the first time today that we see two teams early purchase Moonbane as well, by the way?
I think we saw it last game as well, but I don't think we saw both. I don't think we saw both Moonbane fights. We saw one of them.
We saw one, yeah. But this is the one of the rare instances where teams immediately go grab those Moonbanes as quickly as they possibly can. It'll be interesting to see on the ACOS composition, now that JL are the ones that have picked it up, whether or not everyone in the league is going to follow suit. Because as I've said, JL are the ones that set a trend. They're the ones who set the trend of Cannonball all-inning, like committing 3 of their ultimates onto Sand Siphon immediately, as opposed to Temper pacing them out. They were the ones who set the trend of the Viper V3 coming into play. Before then, everyone would run the V1. As we can have a look at the no ult zone currently in play, Yiran getting that Kurumi Tether to be able to challenge the spacing that Wolves send their way, considering Wolves have much better loadouts in comparison. So that Kurumi Tether was 100% needed. As heading over to look at FPX, they could potentially be taking a fight against JJH's God Lee. Red parry flash goes through, but no one throws a blue, so no parry just yet. No easy opening engagement for either of these teams. Xiaohu trying to cut off this Yoto, forces that F immediately. Ooh. FPX Xiaohu buying time to lock this team into position so that they are so committed into this fight before the Bane's Breath hits in. Unfortunately, the Yoto does get the Farrier V3 to immediately be able to reposition around the Bane's Breath, because JJH saw that Xiaohu was the only one playing that far forward and had a little bit of a feeling that something was afoot. And with that Farrier V3, will be able to reposition Godly before the Bane's Breath can come down and separate the Yoto further.
Indeed, but we're heading on over towards Sunwing's Rest. And J-Team are actually doing a very good job in this team fight here. Z is taken down very low, but oh, look at this! We've got XEM with the drop down, the AC-130 coming out from the Viper, locking down XG. He is stunned up, the Justina dash coming through as well, and he does get taken down, but it's not by the hands of Wolves. J-Team are able to snipe away this kill for themselves, and unfortunately for Wolves, they had the engage, but they just didn't have the follow-up. They weren't consolidated, and they don't manage to capitalize fully on this, and they do get sent to the Spirit Realm. EWG coming into the mix as well.
Actually, the Wishan managed to grab the bodies. Yeah.
Oh, well, thankfully for Wolves, they do get to disengage, get back up, get rest, but the fight continues, and EWG is still scrapping. All Wolves do come back into the fight, immediately gets parried, but no follow-up coming through from 14. He instead tries to disengage, tries to turn the other way, as he is missing a teammate here. 9 is down for the count for the moment. 14, he's gonna get stunned up by this Tessa ultimate, and the follow-up is gonna come through. The Farrier is trying to peel as much as he can, but XG, he only had 1 HP while in the mech. He chose to not heal up and try to save the team, but it does mean their demise nonetheless. And Wolves, even though their initial engagement went poorly, they are still in this fight. They are still fighting it out. Yoto is going to be taken down. The Viper ult is coming through, pressuring this team. The Justina has no ultimate available. Ice, he's trying to create pressure onto that Viper. ZK, instead of helping his teammate, opts to go and help his other teammate to try and lock down Lee, to try and prevent this Yueshan from getting his ultimate up, and he does take him down. Now it's a 3v1 situation, and this Justina is not gonna have a chance in hell of coming back from this, and he does get taken down.
Yeah, Wolves, they knew the ultimate had already been invested because they were still spying on the fight when the Wei-Chen carried those two players. And you could see when we cut to their POV, they still have those rebuffs as well, so the Wei-Chen was able to fully revive each of them without having to go back to the Soul Altar. In the meantime, JJH is going to be fighting JL. over this Bane's Breath, making it a little bit harder for JL to stick in the fight. However, Icarus ultimate called into play from TXJ to be able to reposition. Two other teammates from JL skirting the outsides to see whether or not the team's stuck in the area and if they can catch them on that rotation. Takes a little bit of pressure coming through from musket shots on the Viper. V1 still in play for ZDI as well. I haven't seen JDG make any sort of move to fully commit into this fight just yet. At the moment, it's just range pressure, bows, muskets, trying to chip ever so slowly away at the armor. That's not so slowly. That's almost half of VVV's armor gone in one fell swoop. Alliance, meanwhile, going to be painting a huge target on their backs, opening that cave. Everyone's going to know where they're going to be playing from as VVV gets grapple locked onto. Has to burn the Ferry of V free. JDG are going to see that one come down and immediately try and push onto the other players on JL who aren't going to be protected. We're going to see the Viper ultimate from ZDI trying to come in with that V1 stagger. Does he manage to land the connection? Nope. TXJ is able to break away before that's done. Can connect. And JL can continue to keep their footing in this fight with VVV still sitting inside that mech and putting so much pressure that the Wuchen team is forced to bail out. Oh, JL saw the exact position of that Wuchen teleport when JDG thankfully having enough natural terrain to be able to hide behind before the Ferrier cannon could snipe one of them down. With the amount of health that they had when they teleported out of that, that could have gone south very, very quickly.
Indeed. Now, one thing that I was just thinking about, quickly before I go on to start talking about that, EWG unfortunately getting caught out by J-Team here. J-Team on 5 kills. Is this the game? Actually, no, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Back to what I was gonna talk about. So what I was thinking about is that this composition coming out from JL, right? They have the Ferrier, Yueshan, Akos. Now, this is a composition that I've played in ranked and that I've theory crafted many a time, but with Tarka instead of Akos. Because the thing is, with Akos, he is essentially a better Tarka in a lot of regards. And he does function better than Tarka in trios and in solos even, as we've seen time and time again, especially in the most recent weeks for solos. But realistically, the difference between them, they do have different positives. You know, Tarka can provide different things for the team than Akos can, but Akos is more of a sort of standard value that you can expect from him. Tarka's value is, again, that is the same thing that I was talking about earlier. The harder to execute, the worse they are in general. The less desirable they are to be picked. But at the end of the day, I do genuinely think that if they're running this composition with Akos instead, they could theoretically run this composition with Tarka instead of Akos. It is theoretically possible, and if in future Tarka gets adjusted, it could very easily happen. But, yeah, the theory crafting is there. It is possible. It is possible, chat. It is possible, and I will believe that till the day that I die. But back to the game. BBE in a bad spot here. Roy He almost made it out of lives, but Wolves XEM is gonna chase him down. The Buttery Rocks, not the best place to be when trying to run away, and he does turn with a last-ditch effort with that blue focus, but he does get taken down. Unfortunately, he does get red. But we're heading on over to the realm of Yang. Double Tumulcult, pretty much at exactly the same spot. XCG up against Alliance. Oh, NiHQ is taking a lot of damage. He's definitely at a bit of a disadvantage in the Takeda mirror there. Bo constantly picking away at him with this fan, and he does finally take him down, even through the Karumi healing. It isn't enough. Not enough time for that healing to take place, unfortunately for them. Alliance in a very good spot. It looks as though this might be cooked for XCG, but they're still fighting. It's a 3v2. But this Karumi is extremely low, and it's quickly turned into a 3 versus 1. The Tumulk on his own. Bo, full HP. It's nothing. There's nothing that he can do. An unwinnable situation for XCG, unfortunately. And Alliance come out victorious, but immediately going over to the other realm of Yang, JL up against Bowder TXJ on this Akos that I was talking about. finds that Tiger Grab onto the Yueshan, sending him to the wall. The Yueshan immediately following up on his side. And it's exactly what I was talking about. The synergy from the Yueshan and the ACOS is just so strong, able to continuously lock down a player.
It wasn't just that, it was ACOS Tiger Grab into Yushan Spear Stagger into Scale Rush with Pole Sword.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just a constant chain CC.
You can do, and then the fact as well that they were able to use that Pole Sword and just fry the Transformers' health the second that they popped up into existence. As Alliance is gonna hit the Toxic Shroom, Bo with that fan just sitting in the back and sending on release and repeat charged RMB on that fan. Fear and Shove setting it up so that you don't have to worry about being parried. And we can see just all of the CC, all of the stagger. Who is going to go for that ultimate transformation. Bo immediately breaking away. I do believe that's Phantom Step. Breaks line of sight, comes in with the Takeda F. No one saw that it's activated as well, so no one's going to be calling don't throw a blue into this Takeda's location. He does get double grabbed up with his teammate, however. And that's going to be enough damage to be able to chunk through Revenge's health bar. And then the reverb grab onto Alliance's bow means that he's going to go down too. They did have a million birds might. They could potentially go for the salty run back. There is a soul to right there on Sunwings, as it does look like Wolves are going to be able to get the better of the Monk once the transformation drops out. And you can see all of the players who were surrounding the area thinking about maybe going for a salty run back once the ultimates were removed. Disperse because they see Wolves came in with the third party and still have ultimates to be able to play into. As across the field, Bauda now going head to head with XCG. XCG trying to take solace inside the sanctuary of this building away from that Monk player. Yiran not going to be able to find the release of the first stage charge of the Pole Sword, and unfortunately getting clanked out. Karumi ultimate comes into play. NiHQ taking a little bit of pressure, however gets into position to be able to use those Fear and Shoves to set up the light wind gust into fan, into Fear and Shove follow through, and they'll be able to cleave through Bauda's peak. XCG with the late Karumi V2 cast as well. Going to be able to keep everyone topped up so they can keep the pressure onto Bauda once those ultimates have run through. Takeda gets the F anticipation on Jing releasing that blue. And as a result, Jing loses so much of his armor and health. And now we're probably just going to see him die to Clank. Saying that, however, Jing is able to find a grapple bump extension. Doesn't manage to follow it up with the charged vertical, however. Gets another grapple bump into, there we go. Charged vertical, but no! It doesn't manage to get the true confirm.
Oh no, but NiHQ does get taken down. That is so sad. They're going to have to make their way over to a shop, to a dealer, and hope that there's a rebirth charm there to be purchased. That is very sad, I must say. Thing is, as well, NiHQ could have picked up the Soul Bloom from the Karumi, from Bauda's Peak that got taken down at the beginning of the fight, but instead of doing so, he opted to just continue chasing the enemy team, continue chasing Bauda and trying to lock them down and make sure that none of them escaped. The other two didn't escape. And although it may have ended up winning them the fight overall, unfortunately, he does get taken down in the end there. That dodge into the blue focus, though, that was very nicely done. He had that F1 active, and he saw the potential release coming out from that Yueshan. He dodges deliberately into the hitbox, allowing him to get that F1 confirmation. Very nicely played. But then, thankfully, they are going to be able to pick up that rebirth charm and resurrect their teammate. So they are not going to be a man down going into this endgame. Wolves currently sitting as the kill leaders. 5 kills for ZK and 3 for each of his teammates, taking them up to 11 total. A solid kill number of kills to have at this point in the game. You know, you don't, once you get around that many kills in the mid game, you know, or from early to mid game, you don't have to worry all that much about going in to the end game and continuing to try and get as many kills as possible. You can take it a little bit slower, play a little bit safer, and potentially look for kills, but only when it's when it's sort of served up on a silver platter, potentially, you could say. But we're moving over to the Thunderdome. JDG and DRG. The Kurumi ult is down. The Viper ult has been used. And JDG trying to create opportunities for themselves to get this damage down, but unable to do so. And Kiki does get focused down, taking a lot of damage, forced to use that Wu Chen ult. WFZ on DRG, now getting engaged upon by Wolves. They see the fight. This is exactly what I was talking about. They come in for the... I mean, they're coming in at a good timing, which definitely shows the fact that they have very good awareness, and that they're able to come in with this third party at a very good time. But it does mean that they're facilitating a less risky fight for themselves.
Well, here's JL. We had again with that ACOS taking a fight inside the realm of Yang. Unfortunately for them, VVV is instantly taken down by Alliance's lane with that fan, and this ACOS will be able to get one grab onto Alliance's revenge, but unfortunately the follow-up from JL's one thing has to be a lot shorter than it was in their first realm of Yang. TXJ just trying to use those hops and extended range motions to keep himself away and alive in this fight as long as possible before setting up for another grab onto Alliance's lane. They're trying to use the Yushin ultimate to be able to put into motion that same CC cycle from before. It is not going to be. One thing has lost the ultimate. Flame that comes on through, and one thing is getting absolutely roasted. Skirrush from TXJ to try and find just any interruption, but unfortunately he still loses his Yushan. And now he's just stuck with a spear, trying to set up any form of attack. Gets interrupted by the charged vertical on the fan. It comes out so quickly. There's nothing he can do. And he just gets shredded down. Alliance with the absolute beautiful target focus, ignoring the ACOS, ignoring the Yushan, fully focusing on the Farrier. And as a result, she just goes down almost instantaneously. I don't think we even get to see how VVV goes down. When we cut over to the replay, or rather when we cut over to that POV, it looked like the Pharaoh was just already gone. As FPX.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you caught it. I didn't see it.
I was looking for the ACOS and the Yushin. I was like, okay, ACOS is there, Yushin's there. What composition are we fighting? Okay, the Pharaoh is dead. That is unfortunate, because you rely on that V3 cycle to just be able to cover so much of the spacing in terms of the realm of Yang, as well as just make sure people don't get to reset behind those pillars, because they're constantly having to play that mind game of, is there a cannonball AoE shot going to be aimed at the right or the left? As DRG unfortunately have a pulse that aimed directly at them. Poor Xi. JDH's Godly coming on in with the Yoto ultimate, trying to find the last hits of damage, gets grappled onto. However, the Varia V3 comes in just in time. Chilui managing to find the interruption on the players who were about to push onto that Yoto, allowing Godly to get into the mech, get a couple of hits of Cannonball to push them back, and then boost away back to the back position of his team, so that he is fully covered for and can get a full reset before coming back into this fight when the cannon is still active. Little bit of pressure coming through. Crucially, unfortunately, hasn't been able to find a kill. Gorgeous snipe shot landing onto Tutik mid-air, but Tutik was holding onto the emergency card, which is the Yoda ultimate. Gets one slash connecting onto Godly. Another team starts to come into play, however, with a potential third party showing on up. It's going to be FPX. And spotting that, DRG and JJH want to make themselves scarce. Unfortunately for Godly, he doesn't have much option but to try and keep himself in this fight as everyone turns on to that low health Yoto. DRG's WFC with the Cavalry Bloom now going to be zoned away from JGG. With that Yoda ultimate, looking to find the connection, the interruption coming on through from Tutik with the staff, but WFC is able to find the Takeda F as a result. Cavalry Bloom now hits into motion. We may not be able to use our ultimate or our Fury Shoves, but we can still use Soul Jades. Unfortunately, we don't have the damage because we didn't have our ultimate, nor the spacing to be able to keep ourselves safe because we didn't have the shoves, and JDG will be able to claim the Takeda. Moving in now, it's going to be JJH trying to take a fight against FPX as JL show up for the third party, looking to cleanse the Yang depletion as JDG did lose Tutik. Don't know if anyone from JL, looks like actually one of them was able to grab the soul bloom off of the body before it was teleported out. TXJ is cleansed.
Indeed, thankfully for them, they are going to get that one cleanse onto TXJ. At least that's all we know so far. We don't know if the other two players have managed to cleanse that Yang depletion, but we are going into this end game phase, the transitional period between mid to end game, where a lot of teams are going to be trying to set up for the end zone, set up so that they are ready to try and rotate and make sure that their rotations are on point. They don't get caught out by these teams that are exuding desperation, trying to find those soul blooms. Even more so now with the recent changes that have been implemented. You know, you can see the desperation coming out from JL. VVV has not, in fact, been able to find the soul bloom to cleanse that Yang depletion, and they are just desperately trying to claw their way back into this game, trying to dig their claws deep into any team that they can find and just hold on for dear life and try and get those eliminations and get the soul bloom, as they have very little time left remaining. 15 seconds for VVV to pick up a soul bloom. This EWG's XG is so unbelievably low, but unfortunately VVV is going to be taken down by Tutik with that musket shot. Very nicely done by Tutik there. Perfectly executed aim. I swear to God, musket is just not my weapon. I can't aim with the ADS is different from the other range weapons. Why?
There's no spread as well. Like with pistol, like there's a little bit of spread. Not musket, you have to be like dead on precise.
Yeah, it's an odd one. Some people can just hit everything. It's like some days you can, some days you can't. But EWG, they're not having a good day. They're not having a good game right now. They're not having a good time. Two members have already been eliminated, XG and 9. And this is just, unfortunately, that situation that I've been talking about for a while now. That Yang depletion situation where a team needs that soul bloom, and they end up griefing the team that they lock onto because they have to full commit.
Yeah, and I mean, they full committed onto EWG because they actually picked up a bounty. So, like, they were locked onto EWG regardless of what happened. And the third party, like, the teams see the desperation, see the jail, all in all of their ultimates, still kept going on to the fight, didn't try to disengage, and that's immediately red alert. This is a team with Yang depletion, this is a team that's going to continue fighting, this is a team we can take advantage of. And so Alliance are going to be taking advantage of the fight that Wolves just had by sneaking their way into control of the Spirit Well. Yep, no one looks at them. Well,
indeed.
Alliance has been so good at controlling these spaces. Like, it's absolutely insane. I feel like of all of the teams that we've seen so far today in terms of being able to get the better macro read on how to play the Spirit Well, Alliance by far has been the team that has had the most success starting at the beginning of the Spirit Well spawn to control the space and then living after they've been able to unlock it and get all of the loot. Because that has been the sticking point for a lot of these other teams. They've been able to put themselves into a position to be able to capture it. It's just the getting out alive after part that becomes a little bit trickier. There's Alliance now. Hope Aurora Burst. I feel every single time we've seen Alliance today, they've had Aurora Burst. So 100% they have a huge strategy to play off of the Soul Jade, the spacing and just the tempo. It forces a slowdown because like no one wants to initiate on a team that has silence, and no one can put pressure on them with things like cannon fire because it just acts as a guard protector to stop those range shots from coming through. So you can literally just sit and throw out that Aurora Burst and there's absolutely nothing anyone can do. Because if they try and contest into the space that you're currently claiming, they go into the silence and everyone turns on them.
Yeah, no, it's... Aurora Burst is just so unbelievably strong. It's... Like, if you have a game plan to make sure that you get a certain Jade, Aurora Burst is pretty high on that list. And it's kind of insane that so many teams are able to consistently get their hands on this Jade. But it is possible that it's one of those Jades that's been appearing in the shop that you can buy individually. And teams have just been orienting their entire game plan around securing that Soul Jade. Just because of how powerful
you might need to let this one go, buddy.
No, I believe her. No, don't leave a man behind.
Maybe leave a man behind if it means you go out of the lobby.
It's
oh no, that wasn't death by a thousand cuts.
Random Soul Bloom.
Maybe
in the middle of nowhere.
Ultimate? Nope. Unfortunate that.
Soul Slash coming through. He can't go into the 3-ban zone either. He needs to find a way to get around this 3-ban zone. Otherwise, his ultimate's going to be extinguished.
I mean, let's be honest. At this point, it's probably just a matter of who claims the kill on this Agros.
I mean,
he's turning it onto JDG. Gets the grab onto Tusik. Managed to actually turn it so that he grabbed the Yoto into the wall instead of going into the no-ult zone, so he didn't lose that one. Now, okay, we go for the last of our grabs to push the players into a rough position.
Still
Swap
going
over to the longsword, then we go for the spear so we can get the Dragon Slayer movement to carry ourselves further away, and then we get the ceiling hang interaction so no one actually spots where the Akos run out afterwards. TXJ movement god. He gets called Naraka God for how good he is at things like the Yoto. But I mean, that kite and disappearing act was absolute textbook.
What a machine. What an absolute beast. TXJ actually surviving this really horrible situation. That Moonbane coming down, hitting him twice. So low, but he does. Thing is that the ultimate, he pops it, and then instead of the team close by trying to pressure him once that ultimate's out because they're afraid, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they could have pressured him without risking all that much. You know, the 3-ban zone's really close by. They're 3-man strong. They could have very easily stopped him from healing, or at least tried to shoot him with ranged weapons. But no, they respect it so much, and he ends up making it out alive, which is insane to me. But regardless, we're taking a look at FPX here. They've mugged up, and they're gonna try and get some of these grabs. They do manage to find one onto Tutik, and then another as well. JDG just caught slipping here. They get double grabbed, slammed, and sent back to the lobby, and JDG all of a sudden just get 100-0 and eliminated at the hands of this monk. Beautiful grabs coming out, showing just how strong monks can still be, even in this meta. If he gets those grabs, you're going down. Alliance, though, on that Sand Siphon, the ultimate has been popped on the side of Alliance Bow on this Takeda, and he's going to be forced to try and to get as much value as he can, immediately just flying across the zone there and sending out the Furin Blast with that golden fan. The Aurora Burst coming in to chain CC. 9HQ just getting obliterated. These players trying to stay alive, trying to stay on their feet. The silence times out. They do get up. They do use those ultimates. The Karumi ult coming through, the Tumult ult coming through as well. Bo, now no ult left to go, but he is charging back up so unbelievably quickly. He has almost 80%, and he just finished using his ultimate.
Yeah, but here come Wolves. Wolves are waiting in the wings. They've got 16 kills. They wanted to be the last team. They wanted to be the only team with ultimates. And now that they've seen all of them go, it's their time to make their move. A Viper V1 comes through. Chosen target acquired. Chosen target taken down. We move on to the next one. Tessa V1 comes on through, catching onto XCG's Kakaishi. He's going to unfortunately get caught out by the pulsed follow-up as well. As
wait,
Wolves
is it a 20 bomb?
Continue putting pressure. They could potentially drop that 20 bomb as XCM takes a little bit of damage coming on out. Trying to find this kill onto the Takeda. The silence is absolutely massive. The Takeda not able to use the shoves to push Wolves further away. Takes us to the 20. Should be able to take it to 21. Now looking for that 22nd. Where's Xiaonan running up to? He's trying to go down to the corruption, take damage, and deny Wolves the kill. As it's going to be XEM hit into Stonefall, managing to find the kill onto the last player in the lobby. And for the second time today, Wolves are able to break the 20 bomb, and off of the back of that, honestly, probably put themselves first place in standings.